Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have VIEGO because he's not doing so well this season and he is sad about it, and the players of VIEGO are sad about it despite having basically 2 years of being able to do whatever the hell you want. However, there are some ways that you can make him work in Season 13. First and foremost, go Moss Stomper. Secondly, I have 2 games for you today. They will be timestamped below. The announcer lady interrupted me very rudely. And, you know, yes, we are going to have both games be where he does the most damage, but with fundamentally different builds. The thing is, a Kraken Slayer build is still very good. Blade, Kraken fused together, a lot of HP stackers running around, abusing Jack's show, abusing other sorts of HP items. So the Kraken Slayer squishy annihilation build that also deals with those people, that's going to be good. On your screen, you have the runes for this particular game. Obviously, you can still go booties and cosmic. You don't necessarily have to go cosmic anymore. Again, the smite changes, the item changes for the jungle meant that that's not such a mandatory rune anymore, but it's still good. So in this particular case, we have first blood for the enemy bot lane. I mean, what would why else would we ever play League of Legends if not to carry our bot lane to undeserved victories? Same goes for island hoppers on the top lane, although hoppers is a compliment because they're useless. They just stick in their island. So you would have seen here, he kited out the blue and smited it at 640. I'm seeing a lot of people still, even in coaching, link for that below, you know, they kind of drag the camp at 400 and smite it. So when you just wasted time doing 200 damage, you could have smited it at 600 or above 600 with an auto and then move to the next camp thusly. So keep that in mind. We're crossing here at 221, 222. Get the hell out of the way, you cannon minion. That's normal, right? In the previous season, I did a VIEGO differences. Ooh, a Silas has decided to invade on our Raptors. You know, it's not enough we're seeing Silas abuse in the jungle. He's still strong and prevalent in the mid lane, although his weaknesses can be exploited. So we get seen here, which is a little bit unfortunate. We have the Nocturne doing full clearing down. And yeah, so the 222 crossing from blue to red side I did in the comparison VIEGO video, that hasn't changed. That's the same exact stuff, the same exact speed. And that therein is why he's just typically not as strong as he has been, because he is not getting any sort of direct benefit like every other jungler. He did not get some sort of insane increase in clear ability or some sort of grotesque item he could abuse. And, you know, that means that all those champions that got those things and all those benefits have just gone up, and he's just remained right here. The Harvey Specter of it all. However, we were having a build at the end of Season 12 whereby we went Blade of the Rune King into Iceborne Gauntlet, Frostfire Gauntlet, now back to Iceborne. This is the new de facto way to play. As we kind of watch here, we look for a gank at the bottom lane. We know the Nocturne will show up. The Nocturne says, I know you will be here, sir. I'm going to get in your face and a little bit close for a comfort. Be very careful. You are one auto away, one swing Q away from annihilation, sir. He leaves. So this is a case where, hey, we're going to 5 camp, look for gank, warded, nothing we can do, fall back to this one. We know Nocturne's full clearing, taking this, or showing up firstly. And, you know, we just kind of can't get anything going. The Swain and the Samira are destroying our bot lane. This makes us a little bit sad. Nocturne's overcommitting. He should have left and just gone to do that bottom scuttle. Why didn't he? What? Leave. Okay. He did stop the base, but what do you really gain by that? You know the VIEGO's going to the top side. They're all overstaying to push this wave. It's going to lead to death and dismay. Anyway, so yes, we're going to go the Blade of the Rune King, Frostfire, Iceborne Gauntlet build in the first game here. The sheen change, that's what's juicy, right? If you did the Blade of the Rune King Frostfire from Season 12, we didn't have a sheen. And yeah, we had bombies that helped us clear and kind of move around a little bit and do some burn damages, but we kind of like the sheen on VIEGO, right? You like going sheen and blade. This is a nice combination of itemizations. Obviously, you wouldn't rush a sheen and build blade. You will blade and then you go into a sheen item, if you know what I mean. Now, we are obviously going for the pickaxe rush here. I do prefer a bit more AD in my autos and in my spells. That amplification is kind of nice. We are now leaving the base here. We know the Nocturne would have taken this. I doubt he's necessarily gonna cross this unless he has like some Giga Prime, even that it's a little bit risky. So the VIEGO goes outside and roll for the top side scuttle, again having to give up the bottom side scuttle. We could have looked for this, and you see here the pings by the enemy team as well as maybe from the gangplank. Why didn't you come protect me from my own inadequacy? It's because that's not my job. My job is to control the enemy jungler to prevent them ganking you, and then by extension help you against your laner. But first and foremost, it's not to win your lane. You win your lane. If I can win your lane, it's so I can get some gold and cash monies for myself. Remember that. We are there to help our lanes and support our lanes and get them fed, but at the same time, when you're a carry jungler, it's also to get yourself fed, and predominantly you want to protect your laners from the enemy jungler. So we're going to go in here. Oh, nice ult by the Gangplank. Thank you so much. We'll get the reset. So Viego has lacked any sort of oomph to his Season 13 jungle, whereas a lot of other junglers have gotten said oomph. The atomization, yes, you can technically go Ravenous, but it's not really something that you necessarily are going to always rush. Thus, the Sheen approach of the Iceborne Gauntlet plus Blade of the Ruin King is giving us the tankiness to sustain ourselves against the meta that we're in with a lot of hyper damage people and people who do damage and never die, and that little bit of damage reduction that we have from the Iceborne. Not quite a red smite, but something really good for 1v1 junglers, because remember, he is a snowballing jungler. There was a lot of gold in the jungle, but he didn't get the benefit of being able to farm much faster or have, you know, a Tiamat and a Ravenous just auto put into his inventory. These things make a big difference. So yes, Blade of the Ruin King into Iceborne Gauntlet. Yeah, I said Frostfire again. Into, of course, your Wit's End plus your, what's it called, Death Stones. The Bel'Veth build we just saw. That's exactly what we want to do. However, I'm seeing a lot of the Jack shows. Now, the Jack show does work. It gives you that drain tank effectiveness. It gives you that stacking resistances in those fights. However, you know, the Sheen plus the damage amp plus the damage reduction, just from having that as a sort of an item buy, coupled with the passive giving you some tenacity and some slow resist and some HP, it synergizes very well with Viego wanting to go in. And also just in terms of, you know, champions abusing tank itemization, it allows him to kind of do that properly. So this is, for me, the preferred method of gaming. And then in the second game, we're going to look at a stereotypical Kraken Slay game to show you, hey, look, this still works, but you have to approach the game appropriately and pick it at the right moments. Now, I don't know exactly what's going on in particular here. He should have given something to his jungle. We'll just ult to make sure we get a little bit of an auto queue there. Thank you so much. We'll become Swain, and then we'll go on to clear the jungle. So their bot lane is overcommitting and not exploiting their lead properly because you're just giving Viego stuff. Now we have the ult by the Nocturne on the top side here. If you're in a low elo game, he might look to do this, so we could do that. I think that's a fair trade at this particular point. I don't think we're necessarily going to run up and contest that Herald, and we know that the Nocturne is going to want to do it. Viego again, snowballing champion. But because there are a lot of snowballing champions at the moment, and there's a lot of very strong PvP champions running around with PvP itemization, he is just not able to get going to the same degree as he was in the previous 2 seasons. And again, when you stay like this and everyone kind of leapfrogs you, it just doesn't feel that good. So we have the Nocturne most likely on the top side here with this Ravenous. He's going to go the Ravenous tech, which of course procs in your Q, which is very funny. And we're going to take this RNG Scuttle here. The Silas is going in on the Victor. The Swain roams from the base after his death to go here. He ults, the bubble misses. We'll just go ahead and kill the Silas. Remember, focus that properly. Become the Silas. Should have held that. I felt like we could have held that. I really feel like we could have held that, but you know what? It should be hey, there we go. Become the Swain, get the heal, and the Lucian, I mean the Samira is rotating here. The Lucian's just chilling in the bot side. The Samira's gonna dash into the Victor, who's now going, we do get, okay. Nice little stun, excellent turn back. Good use of the snowball ideology, which is, right, go and use your spells, get your damage off, and then reposition and play around your cooldowns. Keep your spacing from the enemy champions, play off of CC, and when someone makes a CC play like this, hey, go in, use it, you got the ult refresh. So, that was very nicely done, and ideally we would have taken this, but obviously this whole fight here is much better. So, what you're seeing is, you're still going to go Blade, right? None of that's changed. You're still stacking your Conqueror. You have the Treasure Hunter now to amplify that gold reduction nerf in the jungle, but give us enough to kind of get that itemization spike. We are just struggling in terms of that 1v1 component of matchups in the jungle, so we just have to make sure we're itemizing appropriately for what the meta is. And in the past, we've had Divine Sundra, and we've had Shieldbow, and we've had Kraken Slayer, and Viegos are some of the absolute slowest players at adapting their builds. You know, Hecarim actually might be worse than you guys now. I mean, I'm seeing 46% win rate. Divine Sundra Rush Hecarim, second most built. Hecarim. Why is he? Why are you building an item on Hecarim that is a 46% win rate? I don't know. The champion's so busted, all they have to do is not buy that thing first. There you go. It's very easy. So we have here again trades in the bot line. Finally, Lucian and Nami are able to do Lucian and Nami things. We show up to the bot lane here. The Nocturne is farming. This is a see that? The ult? They don't see this, right? They don't see this until obviously they see the death there, but it's very good. Typical practice plays against a Nocturne. If you're getting ulted by the Nocturne and you know you're dead or whatever, just ping it so your team knows, okay, you don't have to like peel the Lucian or whatever. This is useless now in terms of breaking down towers, but turrets or towers, pick the word or combine them as you were. Now, This infusion is good for the Nocturne and good for the Silas. They will be snowballing nicely from this. So we're just going to push this out here. The Victor doesn't have the TP. RNG Scuttle is on the top side here. We can anticipate the Nocturne might be either basing or potentially hanging around to take that. You never know. And I think, you know, certain elos, you might really expect him to kind of hang around for that. But obviously with Swain coming out of base, Silas will have to yeet a little bit. We'll play this a little bit more cautiously. I think we all know personally that the Nocturne's going to go back to base. But play it smart. Play it smart. Samir's rotating here. Swain is rotating here. I'm excited now. We do have the atomization we need to start doing some stuff. But it's the Frostfire Spike that's going to be huge. It's the really nice item combo. I did it again, didn't I? I love Iceborne. I've always built Iceborne, even on Season 7. Warrior Warwick with Iceborne. You know, Iceborne on Echo, Season 5 and 6. It's an item I've always enjoyed building. And for some reason in this video, all I can say is Frostfire. Yeah, you know what I mean. So let's just go back here because we actually had a little bit of a kill dive on the Victor, and the Swain will get one back. Yeah, so the Blade of the Rune King Iceborne Gauntlet build combination for your Yees, your Belveths, and your Viegos. It's looking kind of handy. Now, could you run it on Warwick in theory? You could, although I do believe Jack shows sort of just raw better itemization, but Viego, Warwick, all these champions, Zodi GG guides, I've put all the live companion guides, I've put all the builds, everything that is in these videos is in those live companion guides. So click through, investigate, try them out for yourselves, and tell me how you think they feel, because obviously this is a different playstyle. We will finally take that, finally take that dragon, and now let's start to push the map just a little bit, yeah, because the Nocturne 2-on-1, same CS, has not been as active. The Viego's done a very good job biding his time, and I think that's what you've noticed here. You know, we've moved away a little bit from Red Raptor's Grump action, a little bit more focus on that gold income because of the reduction. You know, getting that 40 treats to 20 treats is really the goal of jungling, and of course the 20 to 0. So, you know, high risk plays where you get nothing isn't always the way you want to play it. Nocturne is ulting again. We should ping this, but although we don't need to because we'll see it, which means we straight up know we can have a Giga Dive on the bottom lane here. We kind of want to give Viego something. Which he does get, fortunately, and we can heal up and we can take this one while they permafist this one. This is fascinating. The Swain spent so much time out of lane now, moving around, that the lead his bot lane had, it no exists no more. It's gone. The Samir is getting dove 3v1 and the Victor's getting dove 3v1, but they're pushing this tier 2, and Jeep is like, I'm not done yet, guys. Do I really have to rotate to this at the moment? And you know what? I don't think he necessarily did, because that was always going to be dead, and then he just goes in and dies. Now, the Viego here is doing, and this is very important here, the Sheen plus Kindle Gem, which is what we would normally use to build into Divine Sunderer. So you're having the same exact itemization spike in terms of your like mini items, right? The things you would rush normally, except we're not going to go into it. We're going to go into the Iceborne Gauntlet. And that's really interesting too, because people don't think about that enough. When you're building literally Frostfire Season 12, you know, Balmy Cinder, Armor, like, is it really something I really want to be buying? You know, null magic metal, no. If I can buy the Sheen plus the Kindle Gem and then get armor into the finishing the Iceborne Gauntlet, that's great, especially against an armor heavy team. See? Blade, Sheen, better tankiness and cooldown and haste from the Kindle Gem equals dead Aatrox. Dude got melted. This is already, oh, damage to champions is 0 already. That's so much. It says 0, guys. You can't see it, but that's probably good. I was like, let me see what damage amp we have. Oh, there we go, 922. There we go. I was making fun of the bug because it sometimes just stays at 0, but there we go. 922, because obviously when you become a champion and things like this, it messes with it. Viego is very difficult to coach. So, and obviously we get that 50 HP, 5% tenacity, and 5% slow. And here we go. Sorry, my cat started meowing and I had to cut again. So we have the Silas here showing up on the top side. We are going to now clear our top side quadrant. Let's see what damage and damage reduction we can have here from the Iceborne Gauntlet. We have here the Nocturne going straight in the flash here from the Nami. We're going to go in to try and peel. Can we do it? Nice all by the Nami. And again, good disruption, good rotation, good stun, good ultimate, good auto Q, nice Sheen proc. And the Blade of the Rune King doing its work and damage. Silas now has not paid attention to this, and he's actually going to get caught out a little bit. Nocturne's building this way, please. You do have to understand, ooh, a little bit of a TP escape. Please just don't rush into people and try and think you're gonna blow everyone up and one-shot them. It's you know, a good Nocturne and a bad Nocturne are so easy to tell because, you know, a good Nocturne will just know when to ult. Bad Nocturnes are just ulting into 4 people, 5 people. They have no idea how much they can dish out or tank. And now we're going to go ahead and go onto this Aatrox here, who is getting, you know, fisted by the Nami as well. I don't know why he's so deep. We are now going to fight over this Herald. Don't focus it. Focus on the swing. Make sure we kill him. Reposition with the ultimate again with the Frostfire. You can be the front line. You have the slow field. You have the armor. Don't have magic resist. That's why the Wit's End can be so good and juicy. So, excellently done. We finally finish our little Pokemon ball, and he becomes the Moss Stomper Elite. We take the Herald, which is very, very good. And again, this little bit here, right, 100% stronger slow on them and reducing the damage by 10% against you for 2.5 seconds. That's your primary target when you cripple them. Such an underrated and non-stated aspect of this item right now. And that's also why it's great when you want to be a snowballing 1v1 kind of jungler. Yeah? You want that kind of impact. You want that itemization that gives you the sustain, the damage, and of course the utility with this crippling to be able to beat a lot of people that maybe you couldn't if you were going a Kraken Slayer Blade of the Ruin King squishy build. They might be able to withstand your damage and your itemization, but you would then, you know, be dead because you have no HP and no resistances. So we are now going to go into the Death Dance. I think that's absolutely fine here. What are we worried about? The Swain and the Silas, but we're not really too concerned about them because, again, with the lifesteal, that gives us pseudo resistances in that particular sense. We have the FPX Gangplank ult coming through and never ever see that skin. We do miss that Q, but that's fine. We'll just keep auto attacking because that's what we do, and that's an easy kill. So is magic resist needed when you're just picking up the Swain, picking up the Silas? No. We have an ult. Where is it? Ping it. Top lane. All right. Gangplank is a good champion I enjoy. Now, we have gotten one dragon, we're going to go for the second dragon, but all of this has been quite subtle and subdued. We are no longer in this sort of Red Raptors, Grump, perma-fisting, invading, snowballing, you know, get 200 kills, get 1,000 resets. The Moss Stomper, the sustain from things like Ravenous Hydra, and just the whole nature of the jungle changing has made it so that what he wants to do isn't always what he can do. That flash there into the Crown of the Shattered Queen, I mean, it's already his first mistake was going Crown of the Shattered Queen. You know. I mean, I know you can, but no. So, nice rotation. Again, what we're learning here is that VIEGO is still very good at reacting and rotating to fights where he needs to be present, okay? Nice slow from the ultimate there. We're getting our auto attacks down. We're getting our Qs down. We're going to use, well, everything that we have, and the guy dies. It was very difficult to make sexy when someone's just auto-attacking and queuing, or just auto-attacking, but VIEGO is a fun champion. This might not be the most, hey, look at this flash W and the animation cancel, and look at that ultimate over the wall, and he became this guy and got the pentakill. That's fine, because most of your games are not going to be like that. Sometimes it's just going to be you using your E, hitting the W, getting your auto Qs off, using your ult appropriately, becoming them, and getting those resets. I mean, it's not always gonna be super flamboyant, but you will always have fun with it. And that's the most important thing here. This build also, we have how much in pocket here? Let's have a look. 1,402 golds. Okay, in the interest of time, nothing really happened, and we want to get to the second game, so we use the second Herald, a good use. I love punching down and inhib with it. Now remember, look at this. We can go and we can be the front line. You've got that pseudo Divine Sundra build, and again, you can still go the Divine Sundra, but you're seeing the amount of damage that we can get off you just with Blade and Frostfire. The combination is so supreme. It's just a better version of that, you know, Season 12 itemization. Again, the Sheen doing a lot of work for us overall, and the damage reduction on the primary target, really useful for 1v1s. A nice E by the Swain there, but again, you're in a little bit of a pickle, I think. We're going to use our E, we're holding that W to see if we can do anything about that. We have a bit of residual camouflage. We go in here, we're going to go onto the Nocturne, force him out again, spacing back with the W. Wait for our cooldowns, we can go back in here, we have our E up again. Can we use our ult for the slow plus kill? Yes, we can! And we become the Nocturne. Now we do have the Q available, plus the spell shield, but it should be a pretty straightforward closeout here for the VIEGO's team. So again, not something too over the top, nothing too weird that you wouldn't have already known how to do, but understanding that the nature of clears and using that 5 camper flex into the bottom lane. Unfortunately, it was warded, but we played very measured, very solid, good counter jungling where possible, equal and opposite. We didn't go looking to fight other junglers that we might feel beat us 1v1. A nice easy win. Let's look at Kraken Slayer. Okay, in this game we have the same room page, except of course the Cosmic and Booty, so no point showing it again. We are going leashless on the red into the Krugs. Can you do a red Krugs Raptors into a sort of quadrant action play. Yes, you can. I'm glad you asked. You don't have to 5 camp or 6 camp. If you do desire to get onto the map sooner, Viego can still do exactly that, especially in lanes where the mid lane is low. Again, use your F keys. Excellent scatter the weak into the W. We've got, of course, auto attack animation cancel with the Q, and that's a free kill. Remember, all these champions with these, auto attack Qs and Q auto attacks, use them rightly. Viego, you've got Warwick, you've got Volibear with the W, of course. Just always animation cancel your auto, whatever spells you have. Same thing with Rengar, auto attack Q, Kha'Zix, auto attack Q. Canceling those autos for those windups maximizes your DPS and also gets you onto the next auto attack quicker once the ability has been used, because you get to use the ability quicker. Okay, the Victor has now TP'd back in here against the Syndra. We fall back to our blue and Grump, which effectively, what this is, as we have a Sylas jungle, which is of course what everyone's playing these days, the sexy pick, 12 CS, he goes to the red side quadrant into the bottom lane gank as well. We spoke about this in yesterday's Sylas video on the gameplay channel, whereby, we kind of did the cheese and we tracked the Talia doing red Raptors Grump ganking bot lane, when she could have just done red, Krugs, Raptors, and also done the exact same thing with a fallback to blue side. The Viego here has effectively done what we call the red Raptors, red Krugs, Raptors, blue Grump 5 campus, skipping the Wolves, but he threw in a gank in the middle. Now, because he's got no TP, but he will have flash and Syndra's a little low, we're going to go for this and burn that flash here. We obviously know the Sylas will be falling back to this blue side, so we do have to be cautious here. Don't overchase. Very, very good. Measured approach, smart jungling. We know the Sylas should, in theory, show up here. If he shows up top side, that would be random and funny. No, he shows up here as expected, but without any additional CS. And now we're getting caught out a little bit, going for the crab. Remember, in these situations where you see that happening, push the crab to the side where you have prior, push it where you can leave quickly. Don't contain yourself in a corner, whereby if the support and the jungle rotate with the mid prior, that happens. Main thing is to live, obviously, but at the same time, keep that in mind. You're pushing down to the bottom side. The Sylas now, still wasting his time, but again, he doesn't have to really think about anything, does he? Sequencing isn't his forte, but fighting is. So if you want to avoid him again, Viego used to be so much more strong in those 1v1s, general meta stuff, but Sylas is a beast, so we're not going to be able to do anything about that. We're going to go back to base here. Now, we have gone for the Noon Quiver. Again, must stop, but we still want the tenacity, we still want the shield, we still want the all-in ability to go with our assassin damage. We have here Sylas. Tough guy to go full assassin, but at the same time, if you can kill him, you can kill him. We do have our multiply round as well. A lot of squishies, minus the Aatrox and the... Actually, you know what? I'm not even that squishy, but if we're going to pick on the squishy, and we're going to snowball that damage, that W does miss, or we are able to hit the Q. Ooh. Very close. Just... Now, the Victor's probably getting very annoyed at this point. The Sylas has now officially done one extra camp since the double kill in the bot lane. And yeah, he's got that third kill, which is, of course, a bit unfortunate. But he's not farming very well, which means he's at 35 versus 29. We do have that advantage. Good shadowing here, trying to counter jungle this, but don't stay on this camp trying to finish it when you could shadow and push with your mid. You don't want to give the Sylas those free kills, and again, the Kraken Slayer build is a snowballing build. It's a build where you need to be ahead. It's a build where you cannot afford to let enemy junglers get fed, get their laners back in the game after you camp them initially, and now you're just a squishy piece of chain pie for Sylas to annihilate, or Victor just to kill, because that champion. Now, we do have the Sylas going straight for the dive in the top lane here. He will just give a sneaky little W onto the Gwen, who is not immune to the chains of destiny, and Viego's going, well, that's fine with me. 18 CS to 36. I will do my Wolves, tier 1. I will do my Grump, although I don't think we actually need to here. I mean, she has TP, so I don't really think we need to Oh, no way. I love looking for those things. I just don't honestly always believe it's worth the time invest. If you want to, of course, take over games and so, well, then yes. I think if you're in low elo, definitely. I don't know why high elo top laner is back in there instead of just running all the way back here. That's very annoying for the Sylas, actually, because we can see what the dude's doing. We can track his CS. We know what he's going to do. We get the RG scuttle as well. So if you're in a lower elo, you just say below master tier. This is always good to see if they're overstaying, get the free kill, get the scuttle, go back into your grump, or if you see translation gank to the mid lane once more, do it. Excellent use of the scout of the week again. We do hit our W. We do have that ultimate available to go back in. We avoid the tower shot range. We don't take the soul because that would be a little bit doomed. And the Sylas shows up going, oh my goodness gracious, this mid lane. But at the same time, the Viego has used the Kraken Slayer Noon Quiver jungle bonus monster damage. Oh, didn't, but you do more damage to minions and monsters to farm faster. And again, more stacks to 20, more stacks to 0. Better than Emo Jungler equals good times and fun times. Now, we do have the pickaxe completed. We're going for the null magic metal in this particular situation. I think the Mercury Tread should be self-explanatory with an Amumu and a Silas and a Victor and a Varus. We're going straight outside in roll to this Ocean Dragon. This will give us value. We could rotate to this fight instead before we do that and think, hey, you know, maybe we can get some cleanup kills. You know, one might suggest that is actually the better play, but at the same time, as someone who is a little objective obsessed, and when I'm fed, I don't really care about my bot lane because I'll kill them in a little bit. I do like the dragon here as well, and of course, we're camping the Victor. That's the crucial thing. The Gwen now dies to the Aatrox again. This champion, can we... There's some champions I don't understand how they exist so long. Hecarim, Udyr, Graves, Aatrox, Yuumi for so long. Just gut them. Let them sit in the trash for a little bit and let other champions be at the top of the meta to have that power that they have. You know, it's okay to gut something and then deal with it later. I mean, we used to call that Olaf back in the day because that's literally what they did to Olaf. The dude was just like, and if you played it, it was considered trolling. Yeah. So, I don't know, this obsession over those kinds of things, keeping certain champions always good. I mean, Hecarim was bad one patch, let's buff him again. Volibear, let's nerf his damage and make him 1% pick rate in the jungle. That's fine. Why is that fine? I don't enjoy that. I'm sad about that. I want to play my champion like I could, you know? So, pro play effect, I guess, but at the same time, only for certain champions. Now, in terms of solo queue, as you're seeing here, 58 to 42, he will catch up a little bit. Remember, as I said, in yesterday's video, he does have that ramp up once he gets Night Harvester. Once he gets a bit more AP, he can still clear pretty damn fast, and obviously the damage will come through with a revolutionary intensity. So we have to be willing to deal with that when we're going a more squishy focused build. Now, basically, this is warded here, so what we're going to do is pull it out. We have the Syndra in the middle of the lane here. You know, she's got a huge lead, but because you have all the kills, it's not necessarily as insane as you would think. We are 7. We probably get 8 off of the... We will get level 8 off of the Rift Herald. So Silas says, hey, I'm not going to be able to fight him at the moment. He's kind of strong. Let me go up and do this. But again, like, you know, this Night Harvester versus no completed Mythic. So the 2 level lead is what's big here. We avoid the chains, and now, of course, the Silas is going to go in, and we do have to be cautious. Again, 1100... Ooh. The Q going this way and missing that sucks, but that again was very well played. The rotation by the Aatrox, oh, excellent spacing. Now, King's applause, very nicely done. Well done by the Viego to space and use those W's perfectly. And even though we went sideways with one of them, we flashed immediately to get the kill, to get the reset, and that's important in Silas. The reason why this can work on Silas is because you want to stop him getting as many rotations as possible of those W's. And again, 5-second cooldown at max rank when you're maxing it. And that doesn't include all the haste you're getting from Night Harvester and the passive of Night Harvester, so it's very important that we can kind of deal with this. We didn't have our Kraken Slay completed, and we were still able to hang with a Night Harvester Silas, even though he was down 2 levels, but I will put it to you, you should be ahead 2 levels on a Silas who is playing hyper-aggressively, not sequencing, when you have Noon Quiver, and you have the ability to do that. This is a very different build to the previous game, where we weren't able to get going, the enemy team had the lead, and we had to be a bit more safe in terms of our engage in team fights. Now, though, we are so far ahead, we can start to do this. And that's funny. We must do this. Okay, but again, look here. You see? The assassins, the damage, the resets, that's what we're looking for. Okay, now we can become... Oof, if that hit. Triple kill, nicely done. This is perfection. This is what we were doing in Season 11, Season 12, since Kraken Slayer became the best way to do it, since they added those crit ratios to the passive and removed the base healing. Some of you still don't seem to realize that, which is why you just go Divine Sundra no matter what. Again, you can still go Divine Sundra in certain situations, but I believe, honestly, if you are the 99% gem pop, play this to solo carry and play it well, or play the Iceborne Gauntlet build to kind of be a bit more of a frontline engager for your team while still having Sheen and a lot of damage. And basically a little mini Red Smite exhaust built into your kit there. Alt to reposition, we're actually able to kill a turret. That's one of the first times we've seen a turret. Game state elevation. DC into CC. Into more CC. Into spacing. Into more CC. Into an alt missing, doesn't really matter. There we go, there's another older attack to finish it off. To become Sellers, into more CC. Into more CC. And you get the idea. Just keep chaining Pun not intended, but happy accident. Your kills together, your spells together, and you see how with the Kraken Slayer, it's very subtle the way he's moving, but in and out, slight repositions just to ensure that we do not get on the wrong side of any sort of ult or CC that could kill us. We are still squishy, we thrive in it. Then again, you could go Blade secondary. I think normally we would say yes, you could go Blade into Kraken, but obviously Kraken into Blade is fine. You can do that, absolutely fine, as you wish. But in a case like this where the Sylas is the issue, the Victor is the issue, the Varus is definitely an issue in terms of AP damage, and the Amumu, just go Wit's End. Because you currently cannot be killed. So the added resistances, plus your Kraken damage, plus the damage on hit from the Wit's End, you know, that's huge, basically. Absolutely huge. And then, of course, you can go Blade or Death Stance third, depending on the nature of the game. I think here we could just snowball with the Blade of the Rune King, but you could also go at Death Stance, just to say that very quickly. So, well done. 30 minutes into this one, we're going to move on down, look for plays from the top side quadrant. We see the dragon, so we do the outside and roll into that scuttle. We have here a low HP Amumu. Will he live? Will he die? Tune in 5 seconds to see. Plant is up. If plant is up, it's doomed. It's doomed. Do we keep chasing? Do we have fun? The Amumu knows. The Amumu knows that we are going for him. And so the Aatrox sees this and goes back down to maybe ward or have a look to see what's up, but disrespects it, just goes straight in with his Q, and this will just equal his death, you know? Kraken Slayer still works when you can figure out the right paths, runes, and game states to snowball, and typically that involves ganking with ferocity and accuracy and success rate, chaining your CC together, not caring about the lane state because you are pathing diversely into the lane. And a ganking video is on the main channel that I released last week explaining all of this and how to do it with this precision. And again, now we live in the jungle. The standard Viego stuff here with the assassin build, moving into the zone to hit the towers. Towers, counter jungling. Hello, Sylas. Down 2 levels. What are you going to do with Night Harvester? Yeah, you could solo carry and get some resets, but I have Kraken plus Wit's End. What are you going to do here, sir? If he steals our ult away, we could have maybe thought about it, but because their whole team is there, you don't really want to. Until the Varus ult is down. Remember, doesn't have ult. See, look at the spacing here. Almost. I feel like maybe if we were a little bit more aggressive just killing the Sylas, it would have worked a little bit better, but our team is playing around with it nicely. There we go. So you're seeing that the feat, right? You have to avoid the CC in the precarious situations, and we try to use ult and flash to get out, but alas, we could not. But as you're seeing here, it's a quick game, just like the last one, but with a very different spin. This one is definitely your 1v9 solo carry performance, and again, this will still be the best itemization for that, but you will have no issue carrying with the Blade of the Rune King Iceborne Gauntlet build, and it does give you a little bit more leeway in terms of team fights, you know? But here, of course, the Gwen TP's in. Mouse Stomper will help us a lot. We're keeping our space. You see the spacing, though? We're always on the side here. We're looking for resets. We're looking to go, and the Gwen just does Gwen things. The Amumu finally ults here. We should be able to get 1 kill onto the Sylas and then become the Sylas, which is not good for anybody. Yeah. If there's one champion you want as Viego in a close fight to become, it's the Sylas. You get the heal plus the heal, right? So that, and plus the CC. Sylas is so broken. If you can become him, it's amazing. So that's a great example of the Kraken build, and obviously you're seeing how much more squishy he is. You lack a little bit of that utility for your team fights, but I really think Iceborne's such a great item when you fuse it with Blade of the Rune King, and a lot of champions who are struggling to get their snowball going this season, like Bel'Veth, you know, when she struggles to go against Rammus, you just go that build, you have no issue. You can deal with him. It's a huge boon to your win rates. Red buff is up. Make sure we steal. We're going to steal that one. Let's have a look to see what happens here. The Varus is overcommitting. They see us. We're going to use our E for spacing. Watch the Amumu ult. That's the issue. What's the Sylas to play off of that? The Amumu goes for the flash ult here. Oh, boy. We do get the... I mean... oh, boy. Yeah. That's cute. The Sylas thought he could hang, but he could not. And again, like, you know, we're going into the Blade here, obviously, but with the Wit's End plus the Kraken, something we can do. The Kraken here, it keeps resetting. I hate that, right? Fix your bugs. I want to look at the stats, but I can't because every time it gets a reset, it goes back to 0 until it goes back to base. Well, there you have it. Iceborne Gauntlet, Blade of the Ruined King, Blade of the Ruined King, Kraken Slayer, or, you know, adapting into your Wit's End, always a good Kindred style option for you. Which one do you like best? Which one do you think works best? But VIEGO isn't doing very well because people aren't basically focusing on these two builds and going Moss number. But now you know. You can. So the GG guides and coaching link below, main channel link below. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.